Now we move on to the subject of stakes in your boots. James Collins, hoping to be fit for the City game for Villa this weekend. He's trying everything he can to get fit. One of the things he's done is put a piece of raw meat down his sock. What's the science? It's such a high-tech business, isn't it, football physiotherapy?
Yes, you'd imagine so, really.
It's quite a shocker to think someone's sticking a little bit of steak in their boots. Stuart Mills from PhysioRoom.com, Top Physio, joins us now. Hi, Stuart.
Good afternoon.
Have you heard of this before?
I have, actually. It's not quite as strange as it first sounds in terms of applying steak to a wound. Maybe if you think back to old-style cartoons where either Tom or Jerry would get a black eye, and they would apply a steak to the black eye. It's the same sort of principle then, what's being used. What it would be is the enzymes in the steak actually reduce the swelling, and it actually has anti-inflammatory properties in the enzymes of the steak. So that's what's being replicated here with this particular player using steak for that purpose. I mean, it's quite unusual for a Premier League player to be using steak because it can be replicated in other ways. The cooling properties of the steak could be done using a traditional ice pack, or the actual enzymes in the steak itself can be replicated in an oil or an ointment also.
Well, what about the protective factor of it? Because I think, obviously, when you get an injury like that, a repetitive injury, if you keep striking it and keep hitting your foot in the same place, would they be using it for that as well?
I think where James has actually had it on the bottom of his shin, but above his boot, I think there is an element of padding that's gone into it. But I think he would be much better using some specialist padding for that purpose.
Is it fillet or rump? We don't know.
Well, we don't know what kind of cut it. Well, does it matter what cut it is, Stu? I'm not being facetious. Seriously, the better the cut, the better the chance of it working, or not?
I think that's more of a question for a butcher than...
Well, I think you're going to need basic butchery skills if this takes off.
Butcher's room.
Yeah. So, in terms of these kind of unorthodox treatments, is there any others in your locker?
Well, there's all sorts of different players, things that players might find as not really a placebo treatment, but they feel a bit more reassurance with a different type of approach to an injury as well. They may have superstitions, they may have different things which they find personally works for them. And if it gives them that psychological advantage, then so be it.
You haven't got your own leeches or anything then, Stuart? You take in the
No, and there's obviously the famous case of Mark Vivian Foe, who had a leg break, who went to visit a witch doctor, who buried his leg as part of that process. But this is not something that would be recommended in the modern physio rooms in the Premier League.
Seems unlikely.
You don't foresee sawdust in the treatment room then?
No.
That's not a serious question.
Good to talk to you, Stuart. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Take
care.
Stuart Mills there from the PhysioRoom.com.